Yara's current position on the new RB209 first draft is that we do not support one of the changes that is expected to and being discussed, and that is the link between the yield and the nitrogen recommendation. So today at the CropTech event we've seen the first indication of some of the new thoughts which are going to be in the new RB209 Fertiliser Manual, which has been under review for the last couple of years, which that review being led by AHDB and ADAS. And in that presentation they've given today, then they've highlighted one issue particularly which is very new since the first edition of RB209 in 1973, and that's the introduction of a yield component which is enabled to the farmer to use his predicted yields to drive his nitrogen fertiliser recommendation. That's something which is very new to the industry and for the industry to think about. And one of the issues we have is that when we look at the science and the data, which Yara are very pleased to have a large data set which we can make such analysis, then the correlation between the optimum nitrogen for the crop in any one season does not correlate well with the yield in that season. So there's a very weak correlation there, which is now potentially being used to drive a nitrogen recommendation. So that's a real key concern for us, because we like to base things very much on the scientific evidence, and that's a little bit weak in this issue. Our advice really to the farmer then is that he does consider it, but if he then decides to use it, then he should have really answered some key questions. And that is, am I comfortable with the consistency that I can achieve by way of nitrogen use efficiency? That's going to be influenced by soil structure, it's going to be influenced by other nutrients which are in the soil, it's going to be influenced by rainfall in any one year, rooting depth, health of roots, so all manner of issues which can impinge potentially on that. But if he is happy that he has consistency from year on year on year, then for sure using that yield component can be something to consider. But we would urge caution there and really say that the consistency from year on year isn't there. In particular, the ability to predict the yield that we have in any one year, which happens, or the influence of that yield can very often change by way of the season. So when we get to our final nitrogen application, we still might be looking at a crop that could still achieve 10 tonnes a hectare. The problem can then come is if weather and disease and light levels come in through June and July outside of our window of nitrogen application, which can then take that yield not from 10 or 11 or 12 tonnes that might have been predicted, but back down to 6 tonnes as we saw in 2012. So the issues that can come in and affect the predicted yield after the event of nitrogen applications can really then give us a problem, potentially with the impact on the environment around excess nitrogen and sort of oversupply. So we would also think it wise that the farmer should then consider at harvest time how things have gone. So if again he has used yield, he's used excess and oversupply of nitrogen, then he needs to mitigate the impact of that. And he can do that through soil testing to find out what the oversupply has been. He could do it through early establishment of either the following crop and then manage the nutrient supply in the autumn accordingly, or he could then drill a cover crop, which again could help mop up some of the excess nitrogen that's gone on. So in summary, then we would err on the side of caution in terms of using the new revised document as it stands today. It is only still in its draft, but what we would hope that as the months go by, some amendments are made to bring it really in line to a document that can then be, we can be more confident about its use and delivering good, robust recommendations for the farmer.